Hello, I'm Robbie Fowler and you're watching Redmen TV.
Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. I'm Chris Pajak, an absolutely dejected, disappointed Chris Pajak, and this is another Reds news update. Look, we all know we got beat 3-1 by Crystal Palace last night. I'm here to bring you what the Echo is saying, basically. So on the back of the Echo, the buck stops here. Brendan Rodgers basically come out and said in his press conference last night that he knows the buck stops with him. He's got to get results, otherwise his job will be on the line. Moving on the inside the football pullout, we got no desire, no spirit, no belief. And you thought last season was painful. They're right, aren't they? Last season was painful. And it hurt so much, especially after the Chelsea and Crystal Palace, the defeat and the draw to Crystal Palace. But this season, it's a whole other type of pain, isn't it? We've had 6 defeats so far this season, against teams that we should be expected to win against, really. You know, the 6 defeats so far, we got beat 3-1 away to Man City, 1-0 Aston Villa at home. We got beaten by West Ham away, 3-1. Newcastle, we got beat 2-1 away. Chelsea, 2-1. And then Crystal Palace, 3-1. So the only teams there, really, that I think that, you know, you can almost expect a defeat or a draw against this Manchester City and Chelsea. Villa, West Ham, Newcastle and Palace, they're teams that we should be beating. Now, that's no disrespect to those teams at all. You know, West Ham have done brilliantly this season. Newcastle have really turned it around. Crystal Palace were in the relegation zone before we played them yesterday. But I think one of the things that I've seen on Twitter loads is the fact that there's this Rodgers out. And we had a few words last night, so I just want to bring my own sort of opinion to it as well. Is that, look, there's 12th for Liverpool Football Club and 4 defeats on the spin and you know, all this type of stuff. It's not good enough for Liverpool Football Club. I totally understand that. I'm not wearing these mad, like, delusional red-tinted glasses where I think that the manager shouldn't be questioned. I think he should be questioned. All that I'm trying to say for myself, I can't talk for any of the lads that were on the show last night, is that I just think it's too soon. I think our expectations, and Jack put it perfectly last night, is that our expectations are only this high because of what Brendan Rodgers did as a manager last season and because of how we performed last season. And yet we all thought at the beginning of the season, especially after that Dortmund game, that we could go on and do one better almost. And I think there was a lot of Liverpool fans that thought last season we were close, but we'll be better. Now, we all know that Suarez has had a massive effect on our team, as has Daniel Sturridge injury, but their excuses and the time for excuses have stopped, to be honest with you. Look, we've had 3 Premier League defeats. We've got a massive game coming up against Ludogorets in the Champions League. We've got a big home game next week. And we've got to get a win. We need to get a win for the confidence of the players because, as it says here, there was no desire, no spirit and no belief. And that's right. You know what I mean? That's a major problem for Liverpool Football Club and for Brendan Rodgers as manager of Liverpool Football Club. What I feel is, though, that all this blame seems to be shifted onto Brendan Rodgers at the moment, and you look, Coutinho was there last season, Sterling was there last season, Gerrard was there last season, Martin Skirtle was there last season, Simon Mignolet, Johnson did his bit last season. These are all players that should be playing to a higher level, regardless of who the manager is. You could change the manager now, and these players, the way that they're playing, we still wouldn't get any wins, and that's like. That's not the manager's fault. Yeah, he puts the team out and stuff, but you've got to, first and foremost, you've got to show desire on the pitch. And I said it in my match reaction last night. I just feel that at the moment, it's too soon to get rid of the manager. And I feel that anybody who sort of stands up for the manager at this point, you're not seeing it on social media because most people, 99.9% of people who actually back the manager, I've just gone off Twitter for a couple of days because they know that all this shit's gonna come in a storm at them and they don't want to stand up and say, look, I want a manager in charge until he turns it around. And me and Paul and the lads that we have on the show, you might call us deluded, and we might be deluded. Do you know what I mean? That you could be totally right. I just feel that we've got to give the man time. I don't want us to become this club like a Chelsea who just sack the manager and think that that's fine. You know, what's it got Tottenham? There's only one team that I can really remember, and that is Chelsea, that have continued to win, and that's because they're bankrolled by millions and millions and millions of pounds to make these signings and stuff. Ordinarily, when you get into a rut where you sack your manager, it doesn't work out. Now, since I can really remember there's been two managers that I've wanted rid of at the time. One was Graham Souness, and I was a kid, like I was just, they weren't probably my own opinions, you know what I mean? But Roy Hodgson was the only other one. I thought Gerard Houllier could turn it around, and I might be wrong, you know what I mean? I thought Benitez should have been given another season. What's really sort of surprised me over the last week or so is these Benitez shouts, because I'm pretty certain the people who were asking for Benitez to come back in were probably the ones that wanted rid of him in the first place, and that's really surprising. And that's what football is. Football's about opinions, and opinions change. You know, at the moment, I do genuinely believe that Brendan Rodgers will get this right, and it's a huge test for him. That being said, in 4 weeks' time, if we've had another 4 or 5 defeats, then we probably need to look at it. But I just feel that right now it's too soon. I think you've got to give him until Christmas. What if you can name a team that's changed the manager in November and gone on to do well? Tell me, because I can only think of teams like Chelsea and teams who are struggling at the bottom half of the table, and I mean really struggling, rooted to the bottom. Last year, Crystal Palace, Tony Pulis was absolutely brilliant. It was a masterstroke getting him in, and they should probably have kept him, but there was obviously circumstances where they couldn't there. But, you know, anyway, I'm really interested to know what you think. I'll be on the comments later, probably between 3 and 4 o'clock. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And as I say, do let me know in the comments. I will be online later. I'll be talking to everybody. I want to gain popular opinion, basically. So anyway, I'm Chris Pajak. As I said at the top of the show, a thoroughly dejected and disappointed Chris Pajak, signing off.
Concerns. Last season our concern was we concede from set pieces and crosses. Now we concede from fucking anything.
Absolutely.
No, we do. Through the middle, through the wings, through our goalkeeper being shit, through our defenders going for the ball. It's everything now.